Why am I in this relationship? This is a question, a very common question, which we all have come across in our lifetime. There are moments when someone feels stuck, someone wants to check out, exit, feels frustrated, feels misunderstood, not understood, and kind of hit a wall, don't know what's the way forward. Hi, this is Shweta, and I want to talk about relationships. Very aware of the fact that it's a broad and deep topic, but actually it's just about reflecting, saying how and what can be done to keep relationships fresh, keep them live, keep them progressive. What can be done? So actually over a weekend, my friends and I, we were having this philosophical conversation, debates, discussions, saying what really keeps a relationship intact, safe, and growing. And there were 2 points that we came up with, and you might want to make a note of that because I found that very profound. So the first was value alignment. Now, you might have come across that opposites attract in a relationship, but actually, if you really think about it, it's not really true. Good relationships have people with similar value systems. They have the core fundamentals, core principles very aligned, very similar, and they appreciate and acknowledge that in each other. So that's the first one. The second was that actually a good relationship, a healthy relationship should provide enough support, enough environment for a person's growth. So which means that in a relationship, there has to be a value alignment and there has to be growth for the person who's involved in the relationship, which is being supported by the other person. Now, look, this discussion you could see from business point of view, from personal point of view, really up to you what framework you want to put, but it does apply to all the relationships. Now, reflecting on this, when there is a value alignment and when there is the growth happening of that person in a relationship, there is harmony, there is balance, there is flow. But now let's just imagine that there is the value misalignment, but then there is growth happening, right? The other person is growing in a relationship, is doing well, achieving his or her purpose, but the values are not matching. So reflect for yourself, what happens then? And we see this in quite a few of relationships, let's say team members, right? Where they are doing well, they are capable, they're adding to the bottom line of the company, but you might not be liking the attitude or the approach of this person, but you might still decide to stick with this individual because there is the purpose being met. The bottom line is getting positively impacted. But the feeling is of frustration, feeling is of selfishness, feeling is of tolerance, feeling is of compromise. Similarly, in family relationships, people sometimes they stay in the relationship because there's no other growth alternative. They are kind of stuck. They know they don't like the individual, but there's a glare, there's sun. But they at least know that they have got an environment where they are growing as an individual. Now, if you think of a scenario where the value alignment is there, but growth is stunted because the other person is consciously stunting or unknowingly stunting the growth of this other individual, then at a core level, they like each other. There is emotional bond, but the person wants to do more. They want to achieve more. They want to grow beyond the given self. And when that's the case, that's where the other person starts exploring the alternatives. They start looking outside of the relationships to see what could they achieve. So going back to the team member, this is when they start exploring other job opportunities, come back to you with the job offers, and you're like, okay, I'm kind of stuck now, what do I do here? Or in families, in different other personal relationships, this is when the conflict will be there. This is where again the frustration is there, the blames would be happening, all kinds of things which should not be happening in a good relationship. Now, generally when one of these things go missing or they're not consciously being cultivated and nurtured, then the relationship moves to a level where the values are getting misaligned, the growth is being stunted, and at that point people check out. And mind you, the checking out need not be just physical checkout. Sometimes people mentally check out, which I personally think is so much more dangerous, because there is just regret and stagnation and unhappiness, which is not what relationship should provide. So now, going forward, when you are looking at your relationships, professional or personal, and if you feel the strain, ask yourself these simple questions. Are my values aligned with this person? Am I getting enough opportunities to grow as an individual? And once you have checked that in for yourself, make sure you're also doing the check-in for the other person. Do I think that this person is enjoying the value match here? Is this person getting enough opportunity to grow in this relationship? Am I providing those opportunities? And if the answer to any of these questions is no, you know that there is work to be done. You know that the strengthening is required, because relationships are like fragile plants. They need to be supported, they need to be nurtured, they need to be watered, they need to be taken care of. But the day you start taking relationships for granted, where you're not aware of what's happening, then you're only left with a question, why am I in this relationship?